heart, reaching a fever pitch and it's bringing me out the dark. Finally, I can see you crystal clear. Go ahead and sell me out and I'll lay your ship bare. See, I'll leave with every piece of you. Don't underestimate the things that I will do. There's a fire starting in my heart, reaching a fever pitch and it's bringing me out the dark. The scars of your love remind me of us. They keep me thinking that we almost had it all. The scars of your love, they leave me breathless. I can't help feeling we could have had it all. In the desert, you have my heart inside. Story to be told, but I've heard one on you and I'm gonna make your head burn. Think of me in the depths of your despair. Make a home down there as mine sure won't be shared. The scars of your love remind me of us. They keep me thinking that we almost had it all. The scars of your love, they leave me breathless. I can't help feeling we could have had it all. In the desert, you have my heart inside. And you played it to the beat. Could have had it all. In the desert, you have my heart inside. But you played it with a beating. Throw your soul through every open door. Count your blessings to find what you look for. Turn my sorrow into treasure gold. You pay me back in kind and reap just what you sow. We could have had it all. We could have had it all. We could have had in the desert. You had my heart inside. But you played it, you played it, you played it, you played it to the beat.
Hey everybody, happy Monday night. Hope everybody's doing well and you had a great day. Thank you for being in here. Right, I'm at an epic pool party. That's where I'm at. It'd be nice to be in Vegas right now. But thank you guys so much for being here. It's been a minute. Good to see you guys. Chris is in the house. Michael's in the house. Oh my gosh. There's some incredible people in here right now. Haley's in the house too. Thank you guys so much. So, couple things to get us kicked off. I have all the videos updated to the YouTube channel. So if you missed something and you want to check it out, they're all posted there. There's a little button in my bio that you can check it out. And then also my email address is up there. If you guys want to reach out, please do. I love getting your messages and it's really helped me along in this journey as well. And I just love connecting with all of you and sharing experiences and trying to learn from one another. So those are the first couple of things. And then, kind of a recap of yesterday. I had to address some things that have been going on and talk about these different traits and really keep shedding light on this subject. Because again, my story is just my story. There's so many different people that have experienced this, that have gotten away from it, that are living through it right now. And it's just me coming on and talking about in hopes of spreading awareness. Stephanie, how are you? Good to see you. And always providing the receipts while doing so, because I think it's a topic that people talk about. To be honest with it and really share that experience and learn from it is important. I love you, Steph. I miss you so much. Hope you're doing well. And everything on here has been so public, and a lot of people have been a part of this journey for a long time and saw all of those red flags from the very beginning that I didn't see. And so it's a journey for me as well to learn from my experience and to learn from others and to not be in that type of position ever again. And I've gotten a lot of good feedback. I've gotten a lot of crazy messages too, which are hard to really like understand what's the motive behind them. And, you know, it's a part of it too. The random messages that come through, and it blows my mind. So anything that I talk about, I want to have something to back it up. Because I think that that's important when you're sharing a story. I think it's important to have those receipts, that proof, so that we can all learn from the experience. And a lot of people have been watching this going on. So, tonight, I want to talk about kind of how can you tell, it's hard, when a narcissist is telling the truth, and how to shut them down. And as always, I do a lot of reading on this to try and understand better. And kind of hinted at some of those things in previous nights. But I thought this information was really good. And then, of course, I have examples of this because I think it's important to share so that we can actually identify what it sounds like. Yeah, they're never telling the truth. That should have been the article right there. It's not the truth. It's certainly not the truth. And they try and live by this truth, which is like a fantasy. Not even a fantasy. I think the more that they say it, the more they believe it. And I certainly have receipts. I look like Jane Seymour. You know what? I hear that more often than you think. So I take that as a compliment. So thank you. So when I was reading this, and it was talking about how can you tell if they're telling the truth? First off, it says, you know, they don't always lie. And many times they do it to benefit their truth. And so they do it when they actually need something from you. And whether it's to, you know, regain that supply, you know, that we've talked about, to boost their own ego. There's always an intent when they're telling the truth. Oh, 100%. You can spot lies a lot quicker, especially with the gaslighting. And so when those conversations go in circles and circles and circles, and it doesn't have to be just with your partner, it can be with coworkers, it can be with children, it can be with anybody. You start to identify these patterns, and it starts to make a lot more sense, and you have a better understanding. And again, the excessive need to talk about nothing. So they'll tell the truth when it's for their benefit. And it also mentions here, thank you so much, that they do it for raging confessions. And I really had to understand what this is. And it's about how their communication sounds. So it's usually erratic, loud, very outlandish. And if you pay attention to that rage and try and distinguish their words from their actions, you might hear a little slice of the truth. But it's very hard when you're not listening for it to actually identify it, right? And the twisting, again, of the words, and they try and twist your words to make you, again, question your thinking. So if you've ever been in a conversation with somebody that is on this rage of confessions, your brain just starts going crazy, and it's hard to comprehend what exactly is going on, right? Anything to make them look better. But what they'll also do is do half-truths. And I think that this is what a lot of people are seeing on this app with my relationship or my previous relationship, is a lot of those half-truths. It's either not true or it's a half-truth. And it gets embellished. It changes from one thing to the next thing. And you start to question what exactly is going on. Here's an example, and this was not in my relationship, but it's something that happens frequently with a lot of people. If you suspect that they're cheating, they may claim that they were just at the office late or out with friends or something, but that's not necessarily the full truth. Money issues, that becomes half-truths too. There's so many different examples of what that could be. But what they're designed to do is to throw you off course because you don't really understand and you don't know what's true and what's not true. And what they figure out is that the best lies contain a hint of the truth, right? Another thing, and you guys have seen a lot of examples of this, is that they project onto you. And that happens a lot on this app, is the louder he gets, the more people think it's true. Getting in the screen, doing this, doing that. It's the projection doesn't mean that you're right. It just means you talk really loud, and it's honestly obnoxious. But they think in their head that projection and being louder and louder and controlling the conversation, hijacking the conversation, means that it's the truth. And that's not the case. And that's a way for them to reconcile kind of their own feelings. They project onto people all the time. And if you've been in, you guys have seen it on here, it's just obnoxious. So when they're telling either those half-truths or something along those lines, they'll inundate you with false apologies. And I've got so many examples of that. And you guys hear this almost daily. They'll tell someone else the truth a lot of times, but not necessarily you, the person that they're having a conversation with. And it goes into bringing other people in, that triangulation, that trauma bonding with somebody else too. And they'll tell other people the truth, but not you. And so when you're in a relationship with someone and somebody else knows the truth and you don't know the truth, that's a problem. That's definitely a problem. But let's talk about for a second, because I was reading here on how to, hold on, I can't find my cursor. There it is. I've got my laptop here with all my notes. How do you disarm a narcissist? When they're in that rage, when they're just going manic and crazy, and we call it spiraling, because that's really what it is. If you want to try and neutralize, hi Ash, there's certain things that were recommended in this article that you can actually say to one of them. And a lot of these things, it's just not natural for me, or it wasn't. It is now. To talk like this and have a conversation like this. One of the ways to say it is you've got to be blunt. You've got to be straightforward and say, I don't like how you're talking to me, and I want it to stop right now. That wasn't in my nature previously. Now I feel more comfortable and more confident in actually saying that to anybody. Nature previously. Now I feel more comfortable and more confident in actually saying that to anybody. Last couple of years that have done this, and they've certainly benefited from doing that. Another thing that could be said is, I don't like being told what to do or how to behave. I am an adult. And I wish I would have said those things during our relationship when I was told, not asked, but told, to either make a video or have his back or do this or that, when it was something that I didn't believe in. So I wish I would have said, I don't like being told what to do or how to behave. I'm an adult. Another thing, hold on, I lost my spot here. Let me pull it back up, is this one's a good one. And I'm not sure if I'm there yet to be able to say this, but it says, flattery and praise go both ways. It would help if you gave me more if you want to receive more. That's pretty bold. That's pretty bold. So I want to build up that confidence to be able to talk to somebody like that. Another one says, I'm going to leave if you keep speaking to me that way. Now, I did say those things, and I did leave. You can do it. If you're in a situation like this, you can certainly do it. Another thing that you could say is, I see you and what you're up to. You can't fool me. And I should have said that louder. You know, there were times where I disagreed with his behavior, how he was treating people, how he was getting money from people, and I should have spoken up. And I really wish I would have. I love this one. I absolutely love this, where you say, it's not my job to boost your ego. I love that. And I think that's something that everybody should remember, keep in their heads, and say, it's not your job to boost your ego. So let's take this platform, for example. When he goes on screen with somebody else and the conversation starts, when the narrative starts to go one way, and now the platform is about him. So both creators, on the screen, the conversation starts going towards him or the narcissist's way. The other person, it's your platform. I said this last night. You control your platform. And if you choose to go on screen with other people or battle or whatever you do, it's your platform. You have every right to tell somebody, it's not my job to boost your ego, and you're not going to gaslight me. It's your platform. Own it, and don't let anybody else take it over or hijack it from you. Especially, here's an example here. If you're in a work setting, the way you're speaking to me is unprofessional, call me back when you calm down. How many times have you wanted to say that at work? You can. And then the next one is, I choose not to be manipulated today. I think that's pretty plain and simple. And I wish people would open their eyes and see that. I wish that the people that in this app, outside of this app, would just say, stop manipulating me. I do not want to be manipulated today. And shut it down. 100% shut it down. And then lastly is to say, nope, I'm not doing that. And you really don't need an explanation. You could just say no and not let it happen. So if I take my relationship, and of course I have examples, and I will, I'll read a couple things, then I'm going to play a couple of things, and I want you guys to listen to it, and then we'll talk about it. But we'll talk about some text messages that came through when I left. And it talks about the truth. And this is where you could see all those things that I was just talking about, where they're half-truths or they're just flat-out lies and stuff. It says, all I wanted was for someone to say the effing truth about me. That's the message that I got. At this time, I was actually at the police department filing a report and getting ready to go back to the house to get a duffel bag and leave for good. Then it says, am I a horrible person, Jen? With a bunch of question marks. Have I mistreated you ever? With a bunch of question marks. Yes. The answer is yes. Because I'm gone. That's your answer right there. So here's another example here. It says, so he's spinning things. And this was 2 weeks later after I left. It says, would love to know the truth about everything so I don't go crazy speculating, especially on a live. A 2-minute phone call or even a text would really be appreciated. So again, that's a threat right there. That's saying he needs to know the truth. And I'm not sure what truth he's talking about, because he created all of these things up here. And then it's so that I don't go live. And I don't go crazy speculating, especially on a live, right? That's weird. That's odd. And so you can see it right there. Again, this stuff is checking all those boxes. And again, I had never been exposed to a person like this in my entire life. Never close to anybody like this. So these things, they weren't registering for me clearly as they are now. Right. Exactly. That's just saying, call me or I'll defame you and slander your character, which is exactly what happened when I did not call back. Exactly what's been happening for almost, tomorrow, it'll be 5 months. Then there's a longer message here. And again, if you guys want to know, I've got them all right here. It says, I'm sorry for the mania and for being upset. Been working on my therapy on the phone for the last hour. Manic bipolar, keeps talking about that. But it says, because I think you think I was a different life other than with you, and you were trying to push me to that life. I'm not sure what that means. But it's an intrusive thought, and then in capital letters in your head. And the truth is that I love you regardless of the mistakes, because I've made a million of my own. So this whole thing, this is 16 days later, is now my problem. You guys see what was happening was, well, now he's manic and upset, going to therapy, is manic bipolar. But now he's saying that intrusive thoughts and that are in my head. And again, these are in capital letters. We talked about this a couple nights ago, is how they text and in capital letters. And there are a lot of capital letters in this message. And the truth in capital letters is that I love you regardless of the mistakes. I'm not clear as to the mistakes that I made to him in the relationship from the time he moved into my apartment. I cannot for the life of me think of the mistakes, right? He's trying to put the blame on me. I've made a million mistakes of my own and have issues that I have not resolved, and that wasn't fair to you or to bring those into the relationship. I agree with that statement. It says, I will fix myself to be the best version of myself and hope that you are doing the same. Again, there's always something attached to it. Always something attached to it. And that we will find our path back together. So that, I can't describe this any more clear for anybody that wants to know what it's like to be in a relationship with a narcissist or to leave a narcissist, is this is what you get. And they're long rants. And again, I have not responded in a long time. And they just keep continuing to come through. Here's a couple of audio messages. And again, I'm not sure what order they're in, but I'm going to play them. And why not? We just share receipts here.
Oh, in the world, could you ever be my wife? Ever? Have you up and just left me, Jen? Why? Why did you leave tonight? Why would you leave me? What have I deserved? What have I done to deserve scooter with you at night? Why would you leave?
So again, it's trying to manipulate me into thinking that I did something wrong by leaving, right? You guys can hear that right there. That I was the problem. That I was such a problem that I left. If that were the truth and that were the case, and again, back to the scootering, if that were the truth and that's what was happening in this relationship, I did him a favor, right? I did him a favor. If I was such a bad person making so many mistakes, I did him a favor by leaving. And so why, for weeks and weeks, did he keep contacting me to earn himself a protection order from me for domestic abuse, from my sister, from my boss, and then subsequently earn...
And know that I'm stubborn enough that I'm going to just walk with this phone and hope you come find me.
So that's, if you cared enough, you'd come find me. I'm going to walk with this phone until you come find me. Again, I was long gone. I wasn't going to go find him, but that was his way of trying to pull me in, to manipulate me in, to fix him. because again, I was the problem, right? You guys see these trends?
Are you staying with Jason? I'll call Jason, I guess. Jesus Christ. Are you staying with Jason? Wow. Wow.
So that was him saying that I was back with my ex-husband, which wasn't the case. And then after that audio came a bunch of, is it freezing? It might be freezing. Bunch of messages that came through saying that he was going to go find Jason, talk to Jason, all those things. He also gave my address, or my ex-husband's address.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but you love me. You do. You can be pissed at me. Fuck yeah, I can understand that. I deserve it. I fucking deserve it. My God. But you do know the man that I am. You know the man that I'm capable of being. You know that's the man I'm going to be, and you do not want to lose out on that man. Please do not.
So you guys hear that? So now he's apologizing and saying that he was the problem. And then it was, you don't want to lose that man. You know the man that I am. You don't want to lose that man, right?
I'm going to get better, honey. I love you. You love me. There's no way you don't love me. God.
So again, it just continues. And so the whole point of using my experience is to demonstrate, I mean, as they write this information about narcissists, it is 100% true. I am your case study here. And it is textbook. Everything I read, it is check, 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 check. There's not one thing that I have been able to say, no, I'm not sure about that. I don't think that that's true. It is 100% true. And I've got all the proof, all the receipts to show that. And so by sharing it, because again, this was made public. This was made public. And I was quiet for 4 months. It'll be 5 months tomorrow. And having a voice and sharing this information does a number of different things. It educates me, helps me heal, but it also exposes what people are supporting on this app. And that's another message that I want to share is if you support it, I need you to go take a look in the mirror and understand why. Really understand why that this behavior is acceptable. And somebody that treats people like this, not just me, it happens every day. The gaslighting, the manipulation, and people pay for this. That's the problem. That's the problem. And so educating people, sharing experiences, and getting the truth out there is important because it needs to be said. And once you find, what Whitney say, once you finally realize what they're doing, it's laughable and ridiculous. It actually is. And it's a hard thing to laugh at it because it's been a nightmare for myself, my family, my work, and it's a nightmare every single day. But you have to you just sit there and you look and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And why is this still going on every single day? But people support it. People pay to watch this train wreck happen. And I don't get it. I really don't understand why. And if somebody out there that supports it would like to reach out, you've got my email up here. Reach out because I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you as to why. But you do almost have to laugh at it and joke about it, because if you don't, you're going to drive yourself crazy. You are absolutely going to drive yourself crazy. If you don't talk about it, you hold it in, it is like a toxin inside you. And last night I described a narcissist, and especially the one that I was in a relationship with, is like a parasite that has to attach to a host and suck the living soul out of them. That is 100% my experience. And, he has to go to the next host, and it depends on the flavor of the day, to suck the soul out of that person, but usually it comes back to me. And I don't wish that upon anybody. I just want to educate so that people open their eyes and see it, because you will get the life sucked out of you by supporting that behavior. And it's got to stop, it's got to stop. So if you're in a relationship or somebody in your life acts like this, please do your research, talk to a support system, get professional help. There's resources, there's ways to get out of it, there's ways to shut it down so that you could be safe. And there's so many people that want to help. There's so many people that want to help you get out of it. Yes, it's like being in a relationship with a vampire, right? Nobody deserves to be treated like that. Nobody deserves it, no matter if you've made mistakes in your life or not. Nobody deserves that. Not children, not partners, not friends. You don't deserve it. So let's learn and let's figure out how to get out of it, because I'm not safe at this point. I have a piece of paper and somebody's out hiding in a different state somewhere. I'm certainly not safe. And so this journey is not over for me. It just continues, and keep learning as it goes on. But I just need to understand why people support it. It blows my mind. I don't understand. So with that, I wanted to talk about those things tonight. I wanted to talk about, when are they telling the truth, which is not very often. Things to say to them to kind of derail them, and to get that confidence to be able to actually say them and mean them and stand by it, and then show examples of how they manipulate these things. Yes, Chris, 100%. You guys they're supporting the wrong people. Stop supporting the wrong people on here. I know. And I think many people probably support just the same way as I went into a relationship. You've never experienced anything like that. And so let's learn from it. Let's keep learning from it. So thank you guys. I will get this video posted to the YouTube channel, so there, if you click my little face in my bio, there's a button for YouTube. And then you also have my email address. I would love to hear from you. So please feel free to reach out, and then we will catch you guys next time. So thank you all. We'll see you later. Have a good night.